It's time for Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors.
Good Sunday morning to you. This is Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and you're listening to Real Estate 101. Today I am here with Justin Zuperku, and he is with the fire department, Shawnee Heights.
Yeah, Shawnee Heights Fire Department.
And how are you doing today?
Doing really good. A couple things I was encouraged about is I'm really enjoying the weather that we're having out there. And the second thing I was encouraged about is when I turned off a 470 onto Wanamaker, it looks like Wanamaker's kind of wrapping up a little bit, and we won't have the construction issues that we've been having here lately. So that's a couple things that I've kind of noticed here these past couple weeks.
Definitely. Hopefully it helps with all the traffic that's been having to be rerouted.
For sure.
So today we're going to be talking about ways to prevent fire. We're getting into the holiday season, and unfortunately that seems to, besides burn season, give a little bit of an uptick on the fires that they have to run to. So let's talk about things that homeowners can do to limit home fires.
Well, with the season coming up, holiday season, kind of one of the things that people are starting to do is you're starting to see a few Christmas trees are starting to go up, some extra outdoor lighting, people celebrating the holidays. One of those things that you kind of work with from the fire department standpoint is you kind of just educate the public a little bit on how to do those things safely. As far as Christmas trees and indoor and outdoor stuff, the natural Christmas trees, you want to make sure that they're always watered, always have plenty of water, keep them going. Then you also want to make sure that, your LED lights are plugged into surge protectors. Make sure you don't overload the sockets from an indoor and an outdoor standpoint. LEDs are starting to become a lot more popular with the public these days. They're kind of a safer way of doing things, but it's always good to make sure that you're still not overloading those sockets.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked about that, I kind of told a story about my mom, but she ended up having to have a whole new box put in for all her Christmas lights because she kept tripping the breakers. Yeah,
it's a good idea to contact your electrician, especially if your way of celebrating the holidays is with lots of exterior and interior lights, and you definitely have some of that stuff that you bring out of the storage closets and setting in a different place, and along with that, not only are you changing the interiors of your house, fire department, and we kind of talk about this in drills. What are some of the things that when we go in, if we have a fire, we don't know the layout of your house and things like that. What are the fire loads inside the house? Is there more stuff in a concentrated area where outside the bedrooms, in the living room areas, not only are we dealing with trees that might be put up, but also decorations that might be hanging over the doors. And it's always a good idea to kind of keep the house picked up and things like that so that if there is something that happens to you, we can get to you and get people out. But it is something that we talk about during this time of the year.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, be sure and change your batteries and your smoke detectors. That way if something does happen, it wakes you up.
Yeah, that's a good point. We always encourage people to try to, every 6 months, change their smoke detector batteries. We have a program that's used to the fire marshal's office. There's a little bit of paperwork involved in it, but not too much. But I would strongly encourage people that if you do not have working smoke detectors in your home right now, please contact your local fire department. Just go to the nearest one, and they'll tell you whether you're in their territory or not, and they can provide the paperwork to install free smoke detectors for you. It's actually a program that, like I said, works through the fire marshal's office, and you fill out just one form, and then there's a little bit of time frame that comes through it. Then we actually come out. The fire department will come out and install those their smoke detectors for you.
So space heaters, that's another big thing that people use,
yes,
especially if they're, they don't have adequate heat in the house. What are great tips to watch for there?
Space heaters are a useful tool. They are specifically used, need to actually be specifically used for when somebody is home. You never want to leave those space heaters on. I'm always really kind of fearful of people leaving those on, even overnight when they're sleeping. I know it's really convenient. It's nice. Everybody wants to stay warm. It is becoming more of an efficient way to heat your home. The space heaters are becoming better. I would always encourage to make sure that you keep those at least a minimum of 1.5 to 3 feet away from anything else that can become flammable. You just kind of want to make sure that you're using good common sense. Don't put any towels over the top of them. Don't try to dry any kind of pieces of clothing or anything like that over the top. You always kind of just want to use them to heat the house. They specifically tell you how many square feet that they'll heat on there. Keep it to the directions they provide.
And I know it's going into everybody's going to be cooking for their family stages, periods, like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and not everybody cooks as bad as I do, but if you would give some great tips on how to keep from, I know you can't stop them from having arguments during those periods, but how not to set the house on fire while they're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you always want to make sure that you pay attention when you're in the kitchen, and making sure that you've got a good plan. Fire extinguishers below the sink, in the pantry, wherever you choose to store the fire extinguishers. What type of fire that you're having. If you got a grease fire, you're always wanting to smother the grease fire. We're always going to try to use baking soda. Flour is not preferred. Flour causes the dust and will help spread the fire maybe to surrounding areas. Never want to leave stove mittens or anything like that near. Always keep them far away from when you're burning, whether it's an electrical stove or if it's gas burning. Just some good common sense when it comes to those kind of things, and that way you can have a good holidays and spend it with your family.
And if you just need an added break and you feel like burning something just to relieve the mood, make sure you got a fire extinguisher nearby. Absolutely, have one nearby. You guys do a lot of stuff with fireworks. Also, you don't really have a lot of that going on during the holiday season much, do you? No, we really don't have. There might be some occasional fireworks, maybe situations, maybe more around New Year's Eve and things like that. But we typically don't have to worry about that here in Kansas. The weather kind of takes care of that for us, and it's something that we really don't ever really run on during the winter months. Good deal. It was just in our notes, so that kind of threw me off too. I know you've got a Red Cross pole here. Let's talk about how long it takes to escape a house once it catches on fire. Well, that's kind of one of the things out there that's misleading these days. People are usually thinking that they have 7 to 8, maybe 10 minutes to get out of the house. With the ways that the houses are built these days, with the lightweight construction that some of the newer construction's coming out with, those times are decreasing by half. You really are looking at 2 to 4 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes, just to get out of your house. That's based upon not only the construction of the houses, but that's also based on the stuff that we put in the houses, the fire loads, the BTUs that the plastics, the fabrics, the synthetics that are in our home, how toxic the synthetics in our homes are. It also has to do with not necessarily it's the fire load, what people have in their houses. A lot of people have a lot more things inside their houses that just catch on fire, electronics-wise. And those just kind of put us behind the 8 ball just a little bit more as far as the fire department getting there quick. We're always going to try to get there as fast as we possibly can. But during this season, that's another thing is maybe the roads are impacted with some kind of weather that's going on out there. It might take us just a little bit longer for us to safely arrive. If we can't get to you, then we're not going to be able to help you as quick as we usually are, maybe with the roads being clear or with the weather being good. And you guys also do a home safety inspection upon request, don't you? You go out and check out homes? We will do that upon request if there's something that we'll need to go in. We're maybe specifically looking more toward, we can give you a few tips on maybe just placement of fire extinguishers, placement of smoke alarms, certain things like that. But, as far as that, you might want to be contacting someone in the building construction when it comes to those kind of things. We'll mainly speak to those two different things as far as smoke alarms and fire extinguishers. Okay. And let's talk about what a day in the life of a fireman looks like. Yeah, a day in the life of a fireman for us at Shawnee Heights Fire, they kind of go by, for me, they go by pretty quick.
We usually have some truck checks. Usually have some training that we do. We're always kind of dealing. We have public that stops by. Maybe have questions for us. Maybe sometimes they just want to stop in and take a look at the fire trucks. It's more of a public education when it comes to those kind of things.
So, do you have just adults stopping by to look, or do they usually bring their kids?
No. It's usually if adults are stopping by, they're usually to get one of two things. They're usually trying to get either a burn permit for the year, or they're wanting to ask a question or see the chief or something like that. Usually, it's the kiddos that come in, and we're always happy to give station tours, even if they're kind of impromptu. We'll run the kids through somewhere. You could take some pictures and things like that. So. But, that's usually kind of what we do with the kids when they come in.
See, now we used, when it comes to movies, my husband and I would use our kids as an excuse to go see a cartoon that we wanted to watch.
Uh-huh.
I know if maybe adults were using their kids as an excuse.
They might be. They might be.
I know we did a scavenger hunt with the office, and we stopped by. We had one of our things was we had to have a picture with a police officer, and the more police officers that were in the picture, the more points we had. So, needless to say, our team won.
Yeah, there you go.
You've been listening to Real Estate 101. We'll be right back after the break. We'll be talking about some of the educational things that the fire department does.
Southwest Topeka has a good neighbor. State Farm agent Jim Garrison, now at 29th and Urish. If your current insurance situation has you going around in circles, get off the roundabout and stop in and meet Jim and his wonderfully efficient staff. Let Jim Garrison give you a quote and make the Garrison comparison. He's confident that with State Farm's competitive rates, the right coverage, and his unmatched service, you'll want to make him your new insurance agent. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and Jim Garrison is there for you, northeast of the roundabout at 29th and Urish.
Thanks for joining us again. You're listening to Real Estate 101. I'm Karey Brownbrook, owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors, and I'm here today with Justin Zuperku with the Shawnee Heights Fire Department. Thanks for joining us again, and let's go into the educational seminars that you guys do.
Well, first of all, I'd like to recap a very successful year that we had in 2016 here as far as from a fire prevention week. It's mainly known to people as a fire prevention week, but for us in the fire department, it turns into kind of a fire prevention month. And as far as from the Shawnee Heights Fire Department standpoint, which is located in the southeast part of of Shawnee County, we kind of got out into the public a little bit more this year. We did a lot of football standbys at the Shawnee Heights football games. We did a couple carnivals with the elementary schools out there. Attracting somewhere between 900 adults and children at that time. We also had our annual poster contest, which when we asked third graders to go out there and put together a poster for us, and this is probably familiar with a lot of people in the community, but we asked them to speak specifically on certain things. And this year our theme is don't be late, check the date. So whenever we did that, we asked people to be vigilant on trying to make sure that their smoke alarms, smoke detectors were up to date, changing the batteries every 6 months. And we had 4 contestants, 4 winners, and each one of those, the winners of each one of those, got to take a ride in a fire truck on their way to school. So there's lots of pictures being taken by parents. Had some great posters turned in by all the kids, really, to tell you the truth. And those 4 kids got rides in the fire truck to school that day. So they enjoyed it. Lots of big smiles. We also had two of them, 2 trunk or treats. One of them I remember at Lake Shawnee. I'm not for sure. The other one I think was over maybe in the Montera area. Couple tours, station tours of the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts came by. There's 22 kids that came by, and so a busy time of the month for the fire prevention, fire education. We also had some classroom discussions. Schools in the fire prevention month of October want us to come out and educate the first and second graders, sometimes the kindergartners, just some basic fire safety stuff. And so we got Sparky the dog out with us this year. And kids really enjoyed. Lots of smiles on their faces, lots of good education. I've noticed over the past couple of years, the teachers are doing a fantastic job of educating the kids. Even before we get there, we're kind of running out of questions to ask the kids.
Stump them, huh?
You can't stump them, these kids these days. They're pretty darn smart. So we're going to have to up our game as a fire department and make sure that we're doing a little bit more to push the education of the kids these days. So it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of good turnout. Our members had a lot of fun with doing it, and we look forward to doing that next year. Next October will be a different prevention month. But I always encourage people, if they want to have the fire department out and they want us to come speak on something specifically, and it doesn't have to be school related or anything like that. We'll go to any of the events that are in our district. We do standbys for people. We make sure that we want to be out in the public and be seen. We're working for you, so we want to make sure that we're doing a good job for you. So I would strongly encourage, if anybody has any kind of questions, please contact our office administrator, Courtney Sturbins, at the fire station there, and she'd be happy to set something up for you. Have a couple of firefighters and even a fire truck come out, speak to either some kids or some adults and things like that, just to make sure that we're educating the public to where we need to.
And to get a hold of Courtney, you need to call 785-379-0566, right?
Yeah, at extension 292 is what she's at. Leave a message if she's not there. She's there Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. And like I said, she can get you on, get you set up with having somebody come out and speak on fire safety, fire prevention, any kind of topic that you really want to talk about.
Let's talk about the coverage area, just so people kind of get an idea of how much area you have to keep watch on.
Yeah. For instance, some of the things that when it comes to the coverage, we're in a very interesting, we're a combination department, meaning that we have full-timers and part-time firefighters. So some of the challenges that come along with that, we are basically located in the southeast corner of Shawnee Heights, or Shawnee County, and we cover about 144 square miles. We have a population that we cover of somewhere around 23,500 people. One major high school, 4 elementary schools, a lot. But we have 4 fire stations. 3 of them are manned 24 hours a day by a single person. And then we have an administrator with also 33 part-time firefighters as well that respond whenever a 911 call comes in.
How many full-time firefighters are there?
At Shawnee Heights, we have 11 full-timers. That includes the chief, and then we also have an office administrator, so a total of 12.
Well, so you think about it, that's a lot of people to have to take care of during a really high fire season.
It can be stressful at times, yeah. But we have good leadership. We have good people that work for us, and we seem to do a pretty good job with it so far.
Are you guys still hiring?
Yeah, absolutely. We are always looking for applicants that are being interested in the fire department. You can stop by any one of the 3 fire stations that we have: Station 1, Station 23, or Station 21, Station 23, Station 25, and we can get you an application. And then we'll get you started on the track as to whether you'd like to help us out or not.
And I know with the holiday season and all that, especially coming up here, we're going to be going into Thanksgiving and people are going to be cleaning up their yards and burning and things like that. Let's go through the process of that, what they need to do and who they contact. Yeah,
a very easy process we put together at Shawnee Heights Fire. We go off of a burn permit system in which you renew that burn permit on an annual basis. If you just visit one of the 3 stations that we talked about before, they can fix you up with a permit, and then they can go over the application, the form that you can walk away with that day, usually, hopefully, within 10 minutes. And they can put something in your hands that'll kind of maybe educate you a little bit more on what can happen, just maybe some of the things that'll make it work a little easier for you, how many people you need to have involved depending on how large your burn is. Most people come in, they just want to burn some of the yard waste or their garden waste and things like that. Those are very simple, basic fires, and we can kind of give you an idea of what you need to do to contain those fires. And other people come in and want to burn 20 acres of their pasture off. We also can speak fairly intelligent to that, as being fought as many as we've fought over the last couple of years. We can probably talk about how the manpower that you're going to need, the amount of water that you're going to need, the kind of weather that you're going to need. Those are the important factors when it comes to those when it comes to those pasture burns, those field burns, that we all know that part of an agricultural-based society and area that we live in, those are the things that are necessary to keep it going.
And just to make life easier, signage on your house and your mailboxes in ways that they can notify or see where you are. Are there specific things that would be helpful for people?
Absolutely. It's not just the mail person coming by and dropping your mail off when it comes to there. Sometimes we are actually not coming to your house on a daily basis, hopefully. So we also have some addressing signs that we can put that we put together at the fire station. For $10, you come in and fill out a form, and we can give you a reflective marker that you can put on your mailbox, or you can put it on an independent stand on your own, and we can see you a little bit better. And like I said, if it's at night, we can locate you. Our slogan is if we can't find you, we can't help you. So this is just one of those things that the fire department is kind of putting it out there for the public, and we want to kind of help people, make it easier for us to find you.
So I know that everybody's going to be lighting fires. It's going to get cold here pretty soon, unfortunately, because we do live in Kansas. Fireplaces, wood-burning stoves, things like that. What should they be doing to make sure that they're prepped and ready to be used the proper way?
Well, you're absolutely right when it comes to trying to figure out a different source of maybe as opposed to using the furnace and things like that. So, people are starting to install, becoming more popular, the wood-burning stoves, pellet stoves, things like that. A lot of fireplaces in a rural community. People burning wood, the types of wood that you're putting in your fireplace and things like that. And one of the things I can tell you right off the bat that needs to be done is always make sure that you have your chimney swept, your flue cleaned out, kind of those kind of things, your fireplace kind of tidied up before you get into that really heavy burn season where you're burning a fire in your fireplace, or wood in your pellet stove, or wood in your wood-burning stove, or pellets in your stove, your pellet stove. It's one of those things where you kind of just need to make sure that you do the work at the front so it doesn't hurt you on the back end. A lot of the times when we run those calls, we'll find that the reason for the call is that, the flue wasn't cleaned out, or, man, I haven't cleaned my flue out in the last couple of years, and cleaned the chimney and things like that. You kind of want to make sure that you're doing those things, as to not have the fire department come out and kind of tell you that after the fact that it's already over with. How you store your wood. A lot of people will store their wood up against the side of the house. One of those things where if you could keep it out in its own separate place, it's tough to cover up and keep it dry out there. But where you stack the wood on the outside of your house may have a part in, a fire prevention to a certain extent when it comes to residential fires.
I know we've also really, really stressed that your firewood shouldn't be close to your house anyway, because you get bugs and termites and all kinds of things that you don't want to play with. Nothing like lifting up a piece of wood and finding a snake. Yeah,
we don't want to find those. Yeah, that's definitely if those can be kept away from the house as much as possible, that'd be a good thing. They have all kinds of storage racks and containers and things like that you can purchase out there to keep your wood dry and off the ground. So,
absolutely. And then you want to make sure that you get dry wood. Yeah,
you want to make sure that your wood is seasoned. Mixing the different kinds of woods together. Make sure that when the fireplace that you have, if you have an old style fireplace that can take the hotter burning wood and things like that, then that's okay to burn in there. But if you have maybe a fire insert that's really popular in houses these days, especially the newer built houses, those have a certain amount of heat that they can take. So you want to make sure that you're properly educating yourself on what kind of wood that you put into your fireplace and into your pellet stove, or into your wood burning stove as well. There's always the wood burning stoves. One good thing is to make sure that they're properly vented. A lot of people are putting those in the basements of their houses and trying to kind of heat the whole house with that through radiant heating. But it's one of those things where you really need to make sure that, it's far enough away from the wall not to catch your carpet, sheetrock, lots of different kinds of woods, start popping and start throwing things outside the fireplace. Catching the carpet on fire, and really kind of making sure that the wood that you're burning in there is good for the type of fireplace that you have.
That and making sure that children understand that they're hot and to stay away from them. We never really had a problem with our kids so much as we did our dog.
Yeah.
The dog thought that the fireplace was the place to be and, belly up and...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the pets, they're always looking for somewhere to warm. We got a cat that every time a car pulls in the garage, the cat gets up on top of the pickup truck and tries to keep himself warm. So they're smart enough to know where they need to go to the fire. But, yeah, making sure that you have a good place there around there. And speaking of when we talked about Christmas trees earlier, we want to place that natural Christmas tree too close to the fireplace. It's a good picture, but it's one of those things that you want to make sure that you don't want to have us out this time of the year with those kind of situations where a spark kind of flew out of the fireplace and caught your tree that may have been too dry at the time that you may have forgot to water for the last couple of days, catching that on fire and ruin the season for you.
Absolutely. So I know with the snow and the ice that will eventually be coming, can't even believe I said that out loud.
That's hard to believe, but it's coming. You're right.
But what are tips for drivers out on the road? I know you guys you're always at the scenes too. Do you see a pretty big uptick of wrecks and stuff?
Absolutely. This time of year, we're all used to getting around a little faster with not natural, but dry roads out there. The weather's been really nice for us. But once the snow starts flying, the sleet starts coming, the rain that comes and then turns to ice at night, you always got to be aware of the black ice and things like that's around. We just kind of at the fire department just kind of want to say, hey, take an extra 5 minutes before you head out to your destination, knowing that it's going to take you just a little bit longer. Always being out there on the roads, making sure you're the defensive part of the driving. Stay diligent when it comes to those kind of things. It might be as much as increasing the space between you and the car in front of you these days. With the weather conditions, the speed limits are always posted to the weather conditions. It's kind of always kind of taking that into consideration. That helps us not coming out and trying to pull you guys out and having a bad day. So it's one of those things that comes along with the weather that is in Kansas these days, and you want to make sure that you're always trying to make the right choices when it comes to those kind of things. So watch out for others.
So next week, be sure and listen to the show. Vern Jarbo with Sloan Law Firm will be in, and we are discussing what you should be expecting from your real estate agent and what their role is in getting you a home. Also, want to thank Justin Zuperku from the Shawnee Heights Fire Department for being in.
Thanks again for having me. I really appreciate it.
And you've been listening to Real Estate 101. I'm Karey Brown, broker owner of Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. And if you're looking to buy or sell your home, our phone number is 785-213-5188. You can also reach us at preferredadvisorsteam@gmail.com and check out our website at topekarealtyexecutives.com.
Thank you for listening to Real Estate 101 with the Karey Brown team from Realty Executives Preferred Advisors. Tune in again next Sunday at 11 o'clock for Real Estate 101.